I'm going to tell you that definitely I like the livery of the car. I do like the livery of the car. In comparison to the artistic thing done by Boogie, I mean, it's not as drastic, but I honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they came up with something like Boogie designed or that he did artistically with the cars you see right below me. I wouldn't be mad at that. I mean, it's artistic. It looks good. It would be definitely funky. It would be definitely something that we're not accustomed to seeing. But I will say that the livery is bold. It does look good. I do think that the C42 with the hint of white in there gave it a little bit more pop when seeing it, because I definitely liked that revision when they came out with that. The red and the black is very bold. You also will see some differences here. Looking back at some of these slides, you can see right there the side pod development changed. Now, how much of this is actually going to be the way it is right now when it comes to the actual car? I don't know. But the side pod development right there, we know Alfa Romeo was working on side pod bits that they were interchanging here and there to kind of see what those changes were going to bring to them. We saw that one race. I couldn't recall which race it was, but there were a lot of little bits of elements that they added to the floor and to the side pod. And also another section that they focused on, that they brought one of those real heavy characteristic rear wings was Alfa Romeo. With their new partner stake, financial money coming in, casino, I think pretty much involved. But also Aston Martin bought a wing in that has now since been banned because of its development incorporating end plates within the regulations, but something that they did not intend to have happen. Alfa Romeo had a nice different type of rear wing setup as well that was very interesting, and it seems like they've taken a little bit from that design and placed it here as well, but they kind of smoothed it out. All right, now to me this would be a high drag rear wing, but definitely it still looks good. Top of the car, if you look right there in the floor, you can see those cutouts on the floor. Now I don't know how much of that is actually going to be on track versus something that aesthetically looks crazy. Those louvers, those cooling vents, that cooling package, of course, we know that will also change depending on what track they're running in. What's up, Mary Beanie? That will also be something that will change. But I think that it looks crazy aggressive. The car is sexy, but we all know that the car looking sexy is not going to be something that's going to let us see if that sexiness is going to translate into race pace. All right. Now, from that top view, I do like that. It does look aggressive. It does look sexy. This corner quarter shot, especially, they got like steak all over this thing. Like if steak was something that was really being sold as food, like it's there. Like the steak is, they are heavily on this livery. Like I said, the hints of white with the font is cool. I think a little hint of white in there, giving a little bit more in the livery would be nice. It does seem to me, I'm kind of looking at this halo area. I can't really tell if they've kind of slightly adopted that boomerang type halo design that Mercedes has and kind of incorporated it a different way. Once again, steak there, right there on the halo, steak on the rear wing on both sides, steak on the side view mirrors. I mean, steak. They definitely want to make sure that their presence is known. Also, like I was saying, they did talk about in the livery lunch. I'm going to say this. Alfa Romeo started off on a very good high note. They started off on a high note. Started off real nice, went to the drivers in Lawrence with the car, and then shit kind of fell off. They got a little long in the tooth. We didn't get to talk. Andreas did not get to speak, which is starting to be a running trend. Vowles didn't speak at Williams. Andreas didn't speak here at Alfa Romeo. I'm starting to run at Fred Vasseur is going to speak at Ferrari. So I think fans wanted to hear from Andreas with him coming from McLaren, coming into Alfa Romeo as a CEO, stepping up in his role and position in a Formula One team. I believe fans wanted to hear a little bit from him. He was in the crowd, did not talk. Lawrence did a decent job going to the car. I think they should have spent a bit more time because Lawrence asked a good question while the drivers were present at the car, which is something that we haven't seen just yet. He asked a good question. What do you think the car is going to look like before they unveiled it? The drivers removed the cover off the car, and then from there they left that studio, went back to the main studio, which left the factory, and then it would have been good for Lawrence to support that next thing when the drivers see the car. What do you think now that you see this car? How do you feel about this car? Because this is the first time the drivers have gotten a chance to see the car outside of renderings and pictures. So it would have been good for us to be able to hear their feedback in real time, actually putting eyes on the car, what they actually thought about it then. But they didn't do that. They went back to main studio, brought the drivers in, and then they let a bunch of people ask questions, and they had kind of already been answered. Like some of these questions had already been answered. They focused on the rear packages of the car. He explained why they didn't really focus on the front wing as much as they tried to make changes to the floor. And it got long in the tooth. I ended up cutting the live off and just kind of coming into here to talk about some of the changes that I noticed in the floor, in the side pod, in the louvers, in the cake. It's I think the car looks good. Will it run good? I don't know. We're going to have to see. They finished 6th, which is not bad in the World Constructor Champion, as far as Constructor Championship standings. Like, it's not bad, but it's not great. And I also didn't like the attitude of we just want to compete midfield. Like Fred said it, like you can't come into a team talking about we just going for second. You should be coming in talking about we're trying to make it to the top. I want to know if Alfa Romeo will end up being like a top 5 team and up. I want to see them struggling there. Joe had a rough season, okay? He had a very rough season as a rookie with the incident, with the reliability issues, with all of that. I would have liked to hear a little bit more, but I mean, I guess it's being realistic, and there's nothing wrong with being realistic, but there is something wrong if you don't know where you are and then you just kind of shoot yourself in the mid pack instead of saying we're looking to be here. It's like we're looking to fight in the mid pack. And he even said it himself. He said right now the car is 100% reliable because we haven't seen it. So why is it not your opportunity to compete 100%? We're going to be the top team or one of the top teams, not midfield fighting. Like you've kind of like put your ceiling like, hey, don't expect to see, us break the top 5. We're going to be right in this 6-10 area. Well, shit, it's 10 teams on the grid. Hell, where your driver's going to be? Last season, Joe was 18th. Valtteri was 10. I guess if that's what you want to do, go ahead, shoot for not the stars. But other than that, the livery started off being like it was going to be the top one, and they got long in the tooth, fell back. Williams is still the best livery launch yet. Out of Haas, out of Red Bull. Williams, now Alfa Romeo. We will have another launch coming up. Williams is still the best. They done the best. They didn't get long in the tooth. They cut it like right at 30 minutes or just under 30 minutes, enough for us so we don't get like spaced out. They brought the car in right off the back with the montage and the clips and the short scenes. Talked to, it was nice. They introduced Jamie, the drivers. It was cool. I think Williams has done the best so far. And a big shout out to Lawrence for hosting, although he didn't get as much time as Will Buxton did. Williams still did better. But Lawrence is definitely, I met him at Coda. He's definitely a cool dude. I think they could have gave him a little bit more time with the drivers around the car and we would have seen more there. So I just want to come on, give my post review on what I thought about that livery launch, because I thought it was some things they could have done better, and I noticed some things that are still going on, and I'm hoping Ferrari capitalizes on this and sees this and says, hey, let's make this action-packed 30 minutes. Fred gets to talk to the drivers, see what's up with the car, give at least 3 questions to maybe, audience and or 3 questions, period, to media that we're going to allow to come in off of stream. And then let's get to it and let them see this Ferrari and bask in it, and we out. I think that's what needs to happen, and hopefully that does happen, okay? So big shout out to all the new family members that joined. Big shout out to all the super chats that will happen. We will be here again. Peace and love. It's 5:12 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I got up at 3 a.m. to be here live for the car launch. I'm really serious about what I do. I get up, I clock in, I'm clocking out now. Let me know what you think about the car. Let me know what you think about the livery. Which car do you think is the best so far as far as livery? Because we haven't seen any of these in performance. I'm going to say right now that the C43 is the best looking car so far, although Williams had the best overall launch. That is my take on that, okay? Let me know what you think. All right, peace.